Give me a mic check.
Oh, hold on. My mic is way away from me. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
I mean, you fumbling with it was enough of a mic check.
Right.
I was getting waveforms. I was going to tell you to stop, but I couldn't bear it. Hello, greetings, everyone.
Hello.
Hey, I do have another announcement to make while we're going. I know I said one time that I quit drinking coffee, and then I started drinking coffee pretty soon after that. I really have quit this time.
Oh, okay.
I think I really have quit.
What spurred the requit?
The requit. I just decided to. I was just like, I don't know if this is basically all of the reasons that people stop drinking coffee. It's like, it was just, even with like the milk, I was like, okay, this is like dehydrating me a lot. And I'm just wondering if it's contributing at all to like bloat or other things, other old person things. And, and then I was like, we were coming up on Christmas break, and I was like, well, I'm about to not have to drive anywhere for 2 weeks. So why don't I use this opportunity to get off it and just see if that way, if like it's a horrible disaster, at least I'm not behind the wheel. And I started drinking matcha instead, which has like way less caffeine.
Yeah.
And
matcha's good, dude.
Yeah, I know. And so I've been drinking this matcha. I'm having some right now, and I enjoy it. And I honestly, and so I was like, okay, so let's see what it does to the energy levels. I find that if I've slept okay, I feel fine.
Sure.
I don't feel any less awake than I did on the coffee.
Yeah.
And the coffee, I finally understood, like, because everyone was talking about like the caffeine crash, and I was like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
But I do, because I would still be sleepy, and I would just think like, God, I'm just not sleeping well, and I didn't really think that like it's the caffeine, and it does crash. And because the way coffee works is like, the way caffeine works is it blocks adenosine, which is a sleep hormone. And adenosine builds up as soon as you wake up, you start building up sleep pressure by the accumulation of adenosine, right? This is the Huberman podcast. And so you build up adenosine the longer you're awake. And then when you sleep, you release it. And it's like a valve that releases. Okay. So if you are not sleeping long enough, you're not getting rid of all of it. And so you're building up even more sleep. That's why you get more and more tired, right? Yeah. So caffeine blocks adenosine. It doesn't like eliminate it. So you're still accumulating it at the same rate. And then you're not feeling the one you already have. So when the caffeine wears off, it just gives it all back to you. And you're like, yeah. And so, and that's what a caffeine crash is. And so I guess by not doing that, I'm not having it dumped on me at midday.
Sure.
And so I was like, oh, wow, that's kind of nice too. And so I think just that in itself is doing a lot. So nice. Yeah, I think I'm done. Like I had just bought like a whole new bag. So now I have like a whole unopened bag of coffee.
Taunting you.
Yeah, just there. But the same, like I've got a whole like handle or whatever of whiskey on my cabinet over there that I haven't touched in over a year. So the difference is the whiskey will continue to age and maybe still taste nice. The coffee will spoil.
Correct.
So, right. But
interesting.
Anyways.
Well, I have a health update for you as well.
Oh, okay.
While we're in our
did you start drinking
banter.
Coffee?
Yeah. I just started drinking. So I think the last time we recorded, I had a little bit of a cough, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the cough did not go away. And so I eventually went to urgent care and was just like, hey, I've got this cough. And like, by the way, everybody in the waiting room was coughing exactly like me. And I was like, great. And so, so I go in, they test me for all the things, COVID, flu, pneumonia. Because evidently the CDC released like a pneumonia alert.
Oh, God.
And so, so they test me for all the things and like, well, you don't have anything. So we're going to treat it like it's bronchitis. And I'm like, great. Like I'm no stranger to bronchitis. I don't know if you remember when we were our junior year, I had bronchitis for like 4 months. It was like ridiculous amount of coughing.
Yeah.
So much so that I have this vague memory. And I think it was this time where I was coughing so much I threw up on the couch in our living room.
Yeah, so we were watching. The couch was full. There was 3 of us on it, and you were in either the middle or I was in the middle. But I was and you were drinking like a pib, and we were watching something.
Which is great for bronchitis, by the way.
You were definitely drinking like a soft drink.
Probably.
And it wasn't like something funny happened on TV. Someone told a joke and you laughed and you started coughing. And I was just like, oh, it's just funny that Dustin's just laughing so hard that it's triggering his bronchitis. And then I saw like brown liquid start to seep through your fingers. And I was like, oh, he's throwing up. And then you got up and like left as you kept like spewing. And I think I hadn't realized at the time that you were drinking. I didn't notice you were drinking a pib. So I thought that was just coming out of you like I laughed
like through my nose or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I just thought that I thought you were like hemorrhaging like brain fluid or something. I was like, oh shit.
Cut to, I'm just dead on the bathroom floor and y'all are just watching.
I remember I stopped laughing because I was like, oh, is this serious? Like, yeah.
To me, it's just the funniest image that I'm dead on the bathroom floor and y'all are enjoying Step Brothers or whatever it was.
We're going to finish this round of Just Cause.
Yeah, right.
I vividly remember as soon as you said bronchitis, that's the first thing I thought of was,
yes,
throw up that time.
No.
Yeah.
So they gave me this medication and like, okay, great. So it's like a steroid to reduce inflammation and a antibiotic. So I'm like, great, cool, thanks, bye. Go get it filled, start taking it. And I go back to work and I'm coughing and whatever. But like, I'm on the medication. I don't feel like it's helping, but like, I do feel like my heart is racing. Oh. And so I'm like, okay, either I've had like some combination of like caffeine and this medicine's not great.
Yeah.
So like I stopped drinking all the caffeine, like was off of everything and still felt like it was racing. So I'm like, all right, it has to be the steroid. I don't like this.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to be done with this. So I lay off the steroid and it goes away. Great. So I think that is what caused that, but whatever. So I get through work, I get through the work week, and the very next day, Saturday is the last day. Like I'll have taken my last bit of the antibiotic on Friday. So it's my first day off of all medication. And so on that Saturday, I had a family get together for Christmas. It was the Saturday before Christmas. And, we're getting together with my dad or my mom's side of the family. And so I go to lunch and I load up a plate, sit down, start to eat. And when I swallow the food, it's the worst pain that I've felt in quite some time, right in the middle of my chest. It feels like I can't swallow the food. It feels like everything is on fire. It feels like the worst heartburn you've ever felt. It's like a twisting right in like my sternum with fire shooting straight up my esophagus into my mouth and in my back. Like I can feel it in my back. And I'm like, this is not cool. So I take Dash home and I go to urgent care again. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm off the medication. I don't know what's going on. And they were like, oh, it's GERD. And I'm like, So it's just
like for
heartburn?
babies? Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, adults can have GERD too.
I didn't know this. I thought GERD was like
just for babies.
Yeah.
I thought diarrhea was just for babies.
No, that I knew.
And
so I stopped drinking the
coffee. As you can tell, the cough is still there a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, so I'm like, okay, I don't buy that, but if that's what you, if okay, like that's it. So I bring up a few things. I'm like, hiatal hernia, like something is like, I've done Google searches. So I'm like, try this. And they're like, no, it's not that. It's not that, whatever. It's got to be the GERD. That's all it is. You're fine.
You saying they didn't say, Dustin, we appreciate your research. Thank you.
Yeah. They didn't say, wow, thanks, doctor.
Thank you.
And so,
would you like a lab coat? Oh, I'm sorry. Would you like to be the doctor now? Would you like this stethoscope?
Here, you have this.
Here.
Let me frame your PhD. So I'm like, okay, whatever, fine, sure. If that's what it is, it's great. They did like an EKG to check my heart because, it's like right there too.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's not your heart. Like, it's fine. You're fine.
Jeez.
I'm like, okay. So send me home with like over the counter, like Prilosec for heartburn. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm taking it and like a few days go by, it's still not helping. And so they told me like, if it's not helping in a few days, just follow up with a gastroenterologist. So I'm like, okay. So like Christmas comes and goes, I'm still feeling it. And mostly it's just when I eat or drink. So anytime I eat or anytime I drink even water, it hurts.
God.
And so it's like miserable. I'm hungry all the time because I can't eat.
Yeah.
And like going to bed hungry like that it sucks.
Yeah.
And so like I was just so hungry. And I ended up losing like 8 pounds over the course of all this. I was just like not eating, not drinking. It was like I couldn't stay hydrated. I just had nothing. And so finally, a couple days after Christmas, I get in to see the gastroenterologist. And so I go in and he's like, all right, walk me through everything. I walk him through it. And he's like, okay, have you started any new medications recently? And I said, I finished a round of medication recently for the bronchitis. And he said, what'd you take? And so I told him what I took. And immediately when I said the antibiotic's name, which is doxycycline, he was like, yep, I know exactly what it is. And I said, what is it? He said, with doxycycline.
He said, upgrade to the Patreon. I'll tell you if you.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. He said, like and subscribe. And so I was like, okay, what is it? And he's like, so basically, one of the most common side effects of doxycycline is what they call drug-induced esophageal ulcers.
Oh man.
And so basically I just burned the crap out of my esophagus.
Oh.
And so every time I ate or drank, it irritated the ulcers. And so I couldn't eat or drink. So he put me on some more medication. He was like, look, take it for a couple days. If you don't notice a change, what we can do is bring you back in here, put you under and do a scope and send a camera down there just to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
And so regardless, like he gives me medication, I go home, start taking it, totally fine. Like in a day and a half, I was fine. And so
nice. Don't
understand what happened, like how that could have happened, but like I'm so glad that it okay, I'm not glad that it happened, but I'm glad that I got through my work week and then it happened.
Yeah.
Even though it meant it happened at a Christmas gathering, but I'd much rather it have happened there where I could leave than it happened at work where I felt stuck.
Yeah.
And so anyway, there's that. And I told Sarah, like, as soon as it went away, I was like, look, honestly, it's a really weird thing to feel like the blessing of being able to eat. Like that's a weird, I've never had to think about it before. Normally I just shove food down my throat and it works. but it didn't work. And I was like, this sucks. And so like I was trying to, literally everybody was like, well, just eat smaller bites. And I'm like, yeah, you think I'm not chewing it? I'm not eating them. What do you think I'm doing? Eating Legos? Like I'm not, this is ridiculous.
We'll just have some pudding.
Yeah. Have you tried a softer foods? No, I've tried harder foods. I don't understand what, come on. So I literally, it's one of the more painful things that I've felt. And part of it is just like the uncertainty of like, why is this happening?
Yeah. And it's scary.
And am I ever going to eat again?
Yeah.
Am I done with food now?
Yeah. Or do I have to just walk around with an IV forever?
Forever. Yeah.
Yeah. Am I done?
Well, I wish I could have a slice of that cake.
Yeah. I'd love a double stack, but oh well.
No more Wendy's for you. Yeah. No more Beekeesies for you, sir. But it also was like weirdly like, oh, maybe I should pay more attention to what I put in my body. Which not that I didn't look up what the possible side effects of this medication was or like drug, interactions or whatever. I always do that. But like, I was just like, yeah, that'll never happen. And I didn't even think that would cause that or that would have been what I had. Like, I don't know. I just never connected the dots. And so not fun. If you ever feel like you're having intense heartburn that prevents you from swallowing, it's probably that your esophagus is burned to a crisp.
Ugh. Well, the scope, I got a scope a few years back. I think I remember talking because I was losing my voice every 3 months. Yeah. And they went and did the scope and like they put the thing like, like up my nose and all. It was unpleasant. Yeah. It's not like they put you under and then they wake you up and go, okay, well, we did the scope. There's like, all right, now hold really still. And
he told me he was putting me under.
Oh, I want to go to your doctor.
Yeah.
Because my doctor was like, all right, tilt your head back. All right, now hold very still or it's going to fuck up,
Yeah. Maybe your doctor has a smaller instrument and mine's over there with like a garden hose.
Yeah. Yeah. We actually have like micro cameras and they're like, hey, this is going to be painful. We'll just put you under.
Yeah.
I think your doctor wants to charge you for anesthesia.
Probably.
My doctor was like, all right, just don't be a baby and be still.
Honestly, at that point, I would have paid it. I would have been like, just let me eat again. Good Lord.
I'm saving so much money from not buying groceries.
But you know what sucks though? Like food is food, right? Like everyone knows that sucks. The underrated thing is how freaking thirsty you get.
Yeah. Yep.
Like I was so thirsty, but every time I took a sip of water, it hurt.
That's so crazy that even water turned into fire for you.
I was literally having like the smallest sips, just enough that I could like feel that it was there.
Please.
But it was literally like a drop.
Yeah.
And I would swallow it and just pray like, oh Lord, please no. And then it would hit and I'd go, oh, ow.
It's like you're in a desert and you're just trying to stretch your water, your one canteen.
That's exactly what it was.
Wow. That's terrible.
So like I have these cups. They're, like 16 ounces during a typical day when I was feeling that I maybe drank half of it. So maybe like 8 ounces of water a day. And that was like all I was having. Like a few bites here and there of stuff.
Imagine you're dehydrated. It's nighttime. You're trying to sleep. You're hungry. You're feeling terrible. And then like someone sneaks into your room and just slaps a nicotine patch on your leg. And you're like, no, please. Oh, no. I feel horrible.
This is awful. I don't know, man. I have no idea. Like, I don't know. I'll never take that medication again.
Yeah.
Come to find out, that's one of the things they prescribe to people like teenagers when they have acne. So keep an eye on it.
Keep that face clear.
Yeah. Because I told my brother and he was like, oh yeah, I was on that for acne for a minute. Like it didn't do anything, but he eventually came off of it. But his wife, she said, yeah, it did the same thing to her.
Jeez. Oh.
So this is like a common thing. And I'm like, well, then why is it still on the market? Take it off the market.
This company, that drug company is going to shut down this episode.
Probably Big Pharma is coming for us.
You're going to get black bagged in the middle of this episode.
RFK, help.
I don't know if that, I feel like that guy has some throat ulcers as well, Dustin. So I don't know if I think they've already got him.
Yes.
He's already been punished. That's what they do to you when they, oh yeah, you got some heartburn. They pour acid down your throat.
Oh,
like, all right,
help.
Get back out there and sing us a pretty song. And you're like,
I say extra crispy.
Yeah, that was your throat.
That was my throat. It was literally a Looney Tune cartoon where they turn into just black ash and then it falls. Yeah. That was my esophagus. Every time I ate something. I'm picturing like your vocal folds, like sitting there like, okay, like let's just endure the meal. And then like stuff comes down the pike and it's like, no. No, stop it. All right. Yeah. Well, those both happen to be things that perhaps you would say are mismarketed. Dustin, coffee, mismarketed, wakes you up, but kind of doesn't. Yeah. Medicine. Sometimes it helps you. Sometimes it doesn't. Yes. Sometimes. I thought you were going to say ulcers were mismarketed. Yeah. You need a new PR team. Yeah. Ulcers have really been mismarketed by the public. Ulcers. They're great. Yeah. Yeah. We really need to tell the truth about ulcers. The Ulcer Commission report. Yes. No, we are talking about movies that are mismarketed in this episode. And we got 2 movies I think we reviewed for this. So we got Jennifer's Body and we've got Y2K. Hey. So yeah, go enjoy that and take your medicine, see your physician regularly. And spay and neuter. Or maybe don't take your medicine. Yeah. The moral of my story is don't. Stop your medicine right now. Dustin, is that a Nightwing hat or a Maha hat? Well, that's like definitely that's definitely like, a Nightwing hat. Did you hear like that's like his thing? It's like for Make America Healthy Again. It's Maha, and I just keep thinking of Maha. Is that the Amanda Show? Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. What a throwback. Yeah. Maha. Yeah. I saw that. I don't remember that character at all, but I remember that. It's definitely a character played by Amanda, but that doesn't narrow it down that much. There was a character named Penelope Taint. She was the super fan. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That wasn't the Maha person. I forgot completely until I saw that like documentary that they named. They're like, for Christ's sake, her last name is Taint. This is a children's show. Dan Schneider. Yeah. Oh, all right. Man. All right. Enjoy the episode on Jennifer's Body. Let me talk about Jennifer's Body. Go for it. So her body's not. I was going to say that. All right. Jennifer's Body.
You and me are going out tonight. Wear something cute, okay?
You always do what Jennifer tells you to do.
It's just that I like the same things that she likes.
Hey, Jennifer. You look really pretty.
Why don't you just come by my place? Well, this is random.
This isn't really your house, is it?
We can play mommy and daddy.
No way.
We always share your bed when we have slumber parties.
Jennifer's evil.
I know.
No, I mean, she's actually evil. Not high school evil.
Chip is looking really cute to me lately. How is he tasting these days?
You are never a good friend.
You could have anybody that you want. Why Chip? You're killing people.
No, I'm killing boys.
Are you scared?
Thought you only murdered boys.
I go both ways. I will finish you if I have to. Okay. You can barely finish gym class.
This film came out in 2009. So this is not part of my series. It's not recent. It's just a revisit that I felt prompted to do. I'll explain why in a minute. But directed by Karen Kusama, written by Diablo Cody. Remember her?
Mm-hmm.
And starring Megan Fox, Amanda Seyfried, Johnny Simmons, J.K. Simmons, no relation. I did check.
Okay.
Amy Sedaris is in this movie, and Adam Brody. Jennifer's Body says a comedy horror film, but it's about these two high school friends, Needy and Jennifer, and Jennifer is played by Megan Fox. Megan Fox becomes a succubus, basically, and starts killing boys in their class, and Needy is trying to figure out why and what's going on and how to stop it, basically. Okay. That's the plot. So I watched this movie because I was watching a couple of YouTubers reassess it. At the time this came out, we were in college, and I didn't see the appeal of it. You know, it was just kind of basic. And then the horror movies in that time weren't always, I mean, there was like Fright Night with Colin Farrell, I think was a contemporary, which was, I remember liking that one. Okay. You know, but like, it wasn't like a horror horror is a lot better now.
Yeah, sure.
And in the late 2000s, they didn't really know what they wanted horror to be. Like, oh, it can't be Scream. It can't be so, the YouTubers were right about this one. This movie was mismarketed to hell. It was a great, smartly written, well executed, modern, classic slasher film, I would call it.
Okay.
I've never seen Megan Fox better as an actress. It was a box office failure, made $31 million on a $16 million budget. So what happened is, it's like, so Juno was such a big hit, you know, the film that Diablo Cody wrote in 2007. And so Fox Searchlight, which I think specifically under like Atomic Studios or something, preemptively bought the rights to Cody's script for Jennifer's Body. They were like, hell yeah, Diablo Cody, buy the script. And Megan Fox got attached to it. And she's like, yep, I love it too. Kusama, the director, loved the original script, signed on. Everyone agreed that it should be R-rated. Cody and Kusama wanted to subvert the horror genre and its tendency to couch women as accessories to, you know, the male leads, while exploring Cody's feelings about the intensity of female friendships, especially in very heightened times like high school. Diablo Cody astutely recognized the good match between horror and comedy genres as a pairing of tension and release. You know, we always talk about like, how do comedians make such good actors? You know, and it's like, because it's a similar sense of building tension and paying it off. And it can be the same with story and with direction, with comedy and horror. That's why those genres do work so well. If you watch a movie that's just terrifying for 2 hours, it can be exhausting. There's gotta be levity. Comedy helps any kind of film work, period. Unless it's like The Impossible.
Schindler's List.
Schindler. Do you remember that Yo Mama joke in the middle of Schindler's List? So Megan Fox was interested in the film as a way for her to freely portray a complex character who is off-putting at times, and to be able to play with the public's expectation of her image. Because at the time, this is Transformers Megan Fox, and it's just, Megan Fox is hot, not much else, blah, 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 you know. And so she wanted to kind of subvert that. At the time, the positive reviews of the movie compared it favorably to its closest possible rival, which was Twilight. People were like, well, this is, a lot more interesting and satisfying than Twilight as a drama and as, a spectacle. It praised it for being smartly written teen slasher, primarily concerned with exploring the parasitic relationship between Jennifer and Needy, and is much less concerned with capitalizing on Fox's sex appeal. Diablo Cody herself agrees that the film was mismarketed because executives tried really hard to target male audiences who want to see Megan Fox while ignoring the female audience the film was expressly made for. She even said it's like her most favorite thing in the world is when people come up to her in public and say, I really love Jennifer's body. She says that's by far the biggest compliment I get professionally. So what happened was after Me Too, the movie's story got recontextualized in the culture and the audience kind of caught up with it. And all of a sudden it's like this victimization narrative for the movie is a lot more at the forefront of people's minds culturally. And in 2009, it just wasn't,
Sure.
So it's interesting. It's one of those just like, it gets of all the movies too. Like that's what was so crazy about it. I was like, Jennifer's Body. Like I can buy that it's not like a terrible film, but like, why is it getting praise retroactively? And it's just like, it's just interesting. Cause Diablo Cody's a good writer. And Karen Kusama's made some good films. So would I recommend it to people? I think so. I wouldn't say like rush out and see it. It's not mind-blowingly good. I think I saw this on Hulu. But it was unfairly misunderstood. And so I'm glad it's getting retroactive love. So yeah, it's a
nice,
cool thing.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have not thought about that movie
ever.
And I've never seen it. So
I had never seen it at this point either. This was my first watch as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's do this because it's not thematically linked, but sort of. Y2K.
Let's check it.
Any lucky lady gonna get the midnight kiss?
Just talk to her, dude. What's up, Laura?
We're actually going to this New Year's thing. It's gonna be a total shit show.
Oh.
See ya.
It's 1999, and we getting drunk.
In a few hours, you have an excuse to kiss the girl of your dreams.
Open up. Take us away.
It's so smooth.
Y2K is real.
Someone's on the net.
Dumbass. I use gel.
You've got mail.
Oh my!
Oh, shit. A Tamagotchi just drilled through a chick's head.
Come on, we gotta go.
We are experiencing major problems as a result of the Y2K breakdown.
Bye-bye, human race.
We're talking global computer apocalypse.
Sorry, guys. I guess you're fucked.
They made a video and everything. That's crazy. You don't know how this shit works. Grab a bike, grab a board, grab whatever you can.
This has been the shittiest night of my life.
Fuck this!
But it's cool that we got to hang out for once.
Oh, let go!
Okay, this is the Kyle Mooney movie.
Correct.
This is
from
the
A24.
Kyle movie.
the Kyle movie. So this is written by Kyle Mooney and Evan Winter and directed by Kyle Mooney. And did I just say Kevin Winter?
No, you said Evan.
Okay. All right. Too many sounds floating around in my brain. Written by Kyle. I'm going to do it again anyway. Written by Kyle Mooney and Evan Winter, and directed by Kyle Mooney. And did I say written and directed by Kyle Mooney, or just written? Did I say directed twice?
I'm keeping all of this in, so you do whatever you want.
I'm going to say it a third time. This is the one. This is written and directed by Kyle Mooney, also co-written by Evan Winter. Nailed it.
Yeah.
This film stars Jaden Martell, Rachel Zegler, Julian Dennison, Fred Durst.
Speaking of Y2K.
Speaking of Y2K. And Alicia Silverstone is in this. Tim Heidecker is in this. I wish I could say something good about this. All right. Here's what I'm going to say. The movie is this again was my review on Letterboxd. The movie is at its best when it's a horror comedy.
Mm-hmm.
It is only a horror comedy for about 10 minutes of the runtime. The remainder of the film, which thankfully is short, it's an hour and 33 minutes. This film. The remainder of this plays like a teen rom-com or like a teen sex comedy type thing, but it's very tame. It's not like the reason I want to bring it up is you mentioned how mismarketed Jennifer's Body was. This is also mismarketed. When you're watching the trailer, it's a lot of like action and fighting robots and all of this stuff. It's not really what the movie is. And this movie does come out in a few days from this recording. So a lot of people haven't seen this yet. I don't know how it's actually going to have been received by the world. For me,
we should put that in the outro whenever we record the intro to this, actually. That'd be good.
Sure.
Follow up.
Yeah.
Future Connor, please make a note.
Please make a note. I think that this film is a much better SNL sketch than it is a feature-length film. I think, I've been a fan of Kyle Mooney for a long time. I love his work on Saturday Night Live, and I actually remember following him before that because he had a little cameo. I think this was before he was on SNL. Maybe it was like right around the time he got on SNL, but he had a cameo on Parks and Recreation, and it was literally like one scene, but he was so funny in that scene. I was like, who is this dude? And I found out that he had a YouTube channel. And he and Beck were making YouTube videos for years before they were on Saturday Night Live. And their old videos are still up. They're still funny. And he does like man on the street interviews that are like Sarah and I watch them all the time. They're so funny. And I love Kyle Mooney. I really, really wanted to like this movie because one, it's a 90s throwback kind of a thing. That's cool. And it's Kyle Mooney. Like I wanted to love it. And the trailer makes it look like this big horror comedy with action and whatever. And it's just not. It is a romantic comedy with some of that, but it is primarily a romantic comedy. I think it is a movie that suffers under the weight of its own expectation, but also the weight of its own idea and gimmick. And what I mean by that is, so the premise of the film, in short, is our two main characters here, played by Jaden Martell and Julian Dennison, are, young high schoolers. They are going to a New Year's party for the new millennium. It's it's December 31st, 1999, and everyone's worried about Y2K.
Where were you, by the way, on that? Just to orient us in the story here. Do you remember where you were for New Year's that year?
I probably was just at home, but like I don't remember it being like, I remember everyone freaking
Talking
about
about
it.
Yeah.
But like we would have been 10-ish years old.
Yeah.
So like I remember the hubbub around it. I don't remember anybody in my family or anything actually being too concerned with it. And then when nothing happened, we were just like, okay.
Me neither. There was no hysteria around the year 2000 in my house. I was down at the beach. So at the stroke of midnight, I was literally laying on sand and like looking up, because I had vaguely heard about the world was supposed to end.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it would or know, but like I remember hearing it, and so I just laid.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah,
I just laid on the beach like I was dropping acid or something.
Yeah,
like
right.
Okay, and
right. You're dropping that Capri Sun.
Yeah, and then I went inside.
Kool-Aid jammers.
Yeah. Fruit roll-ups.
Fruit by the foot.
Yeah. Sunny D.
Every 90s commercial was that. And yeah, man. So like, Kyle Mooney's older than us. Like he would have been probably the age of these characters at that time. So maybe there was more to it when you were that age, but like, yeah, at our age, we weren't that concerned with it, but the premise is they're going to this party and they just want, like, Jaden Martell's character is in love with Rachel Zegler and he just wants her to notice him. He wants his shot with her. And like that's what the movie is. Unfortunately, that gets interrupted by every appliance, every electronic device in the house and in the world coming to life and becoming murderous. So they like all join, like the microwave and the toaster and the, like alarm clock all join together to create like a monster. And he's like, yeah, and he's got like a chainsaw or whatever. And so it's, that kind of thing. And when that's happening, it's actually interesting. It's really funny, watching, like, okay, sure, the kills are interesting. But then when they go on the run, what happens next is they go on the run from the monsters, and now it's just like the characters talking. And it's at that moment that I realized the characters aren't deep enough for me to care. Like maybe the two leads are, but all the supporting characters are very surface level. And maybe this was intentional, but it definitely was like, you're the stoner and you're the whatever. Like it's very archetypical, archetypal, I think is the word.
Archetypal,
archetypal in that way. And I just didn't relate to it in that way. And then by the end of it, because it just felt, again, surface level, by the end, the film crumbles under the weight of its own gimmick by not taking it seriously enough and simultaneously allowing the solve for the big problem that the characters face, which I'll keep all of that vague, but like the big solve for the problem is too goofy. Like it's a comedic solve, which lessens the stakes. And so for me, like the idea of all your appliances coming together to kill you, that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of then having to defeat them in some way that makes logical sense, not funny.
Yeah.
And then if you say, well, then it's not going to make logical sense and it's going to be funny. Well, now you're trying to be funny and it's also not funny. So it's a catch-22. And am I saying that the film never could have worked? No. But in its current state, for me, it didn't work. I didn't care enough about the characters beyond maybe the main two leads, and I didn't care enough about the plight that the world is experiencing, because it didn't seem clear to me, and the solution didn't seem logical or illogical enough to be funny. And so it lost me. In the end, I think had Kyle done this as a SNL digital short, it would have been one of the best digital shorts they've ever made. Stretched to an hour and a half, it lost me.
Yeah.
And while I don't think any of the performers here are bad, when I say Jaden Martell and Rachel Zegler, I don't think comedy. And Julian Dennison, I don't think comedy. Kyle Mooney, I think comedy, but I don't think comedy when I think of Fred Durst. So I don't, you know what I mean? Like, it would have been better if all of these roles were played by Saturday Night Live alums and they did like a Wet Hot American Summer thing where it's 40, 50-year-olds playing 18-year-olds. That would have been way funnier somehow.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not going to say what they should have done or what I wanted it to be. I'm just going to say that in its current state, it didn't work for me. And I hate it because I really wanted to like this one.
Yeah. I thank you for making me click on his name. I'm not a fan of Julian Dennison. I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry. But when I see him in movies, I go, oh,
yeah,
because I'm just not into the archetype his agent keeps making him play.
Right.
And I want him to find new representation.
It's the quirky Kiwi guy. Like, The Hunt for the Wilder People. Like, I didn't love it, but like, it's fine. Like, he's playing a role that he should play.
But then he's just going to play that guy in everything.
Right. Whether it's Deadpool or
he's one
Godzilla.
of the biggest things I didn't like about Deadpool 2. He weighs that movie down to me. That the movie is like that the plot centers around him. It's like, I don't even like this kid. Like, why are we helping him? Why are we trying to save him? You know?
Sure. Yeah.
So
yeah, man. So I wish I liked this, but now, will this have a resurgence in 12 years where we're suddenly going, oh, but Y2K made a lot of sense? I don't think so. But also, I didn't think we'd be reviewing Jennifer's Body tonight. So you never know. For me, for right now, I think I gave this 1.5 stars. I really, I actively didn't have a good time with this.
Yeah.
And I hate it because I keep saying it that way. I'm not saying I hate the movie. I don't like the movie, but I'm saying I hate that I don't like the movie.
Yeah.
I hate it that it's not good because it should have been. Yeah. With Kyle writing it, it should have been good. And it just didn't do anything for me. And I love the 90s. Look at this room. But yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
All right.
I also think maybe my 90s experience, because we were as young as we were, was not like in the 90s. It wasn't about like house parties. It was about watching Nickelodeon.
Right,
so like I don't relate to that part of it, but like in the 90s, I don't know. I should have some affection for the fact that it's just set in 1999, and I don't.
Yeah, the nostalgia should go a long way to if nothing else will. It should just be like, oh, look at this, look at that.
Yeah, right.
And not even that does it.
No. But maybe if you're his age, maybe you really do love this movie because you lived that, and that's great. I didn't.
Yeah, but talk about mismarketed.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, Dustin. I hate to make you stick around for this outro, but we promised our past selves that we would follow up on the box office for Y2K.
Oh, okay. So
you can probably get precise numbers wherever you get them, but on Wikipedia, just for like a rough estimate. So on a $15 million budget, Y2K box office was $4.2 million. And I can't remember. I can't remember currently in recording land why I made myself a note to check the box office. I think you were, because when we were talking about the movie, it hadn't come out yet.
Yeah.
And so we had no concept of like how well it might do. And I think you probably not so surprisingly predicted, like it's probably not going to do well. I don't know.
Like, I don't remember what my prediction was, but I do vaguely remember talking about the box office. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess I should have
looked it up myself before.
Maybe, but yeah, no, I'm seeing it was $4.2 million domestic. I guess it didn't have an international release.
I don't know who would understand this movie. I don't know what market it would do surprisingly well in.
Yeah. So I sent you a video literally a couple days ago. This was pre-SNL Kyle and Beck. And I love their old YouTube skits. They're bonkers and weird.
Yeah.
But they're also, I don't know, inventive and fun. Yeah, I don't know.
I saw that. So I was watching that clip. And so the first thing I thought of was the kitchen they're in looked so much like our apartment kitchen in college.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Yeah.
I was like, those cabinets, the floor, that stove. I was like, for a second, I was like, what is this? What am I looking at?
Is this us?
Yeah. And, and so the whole thing takes place in one shot. And so I was just like, oh, okay, like this is some pretty good acting. Like it would be hard not to laugh. And then when they start breaking into like those cheers, I was like, holy shit, this is like a lot of practice. Like,
yeah, right.
The hard part's not even like the beginning. It's just,
yes.
And then I was just like, how long is this going to go?
And then it just keeps going.
And then it just keeps going.
It's crazy.
Yeah, pretty insane. So yeah, I don't know. Like that's just one of those things where it's like that kind of niche comedy. It's like, it makes sense why he would end up on SNL. Mm-hmm. But then it also makes sense why it's like, yeah, but let's do some broad appeal, you know? And how a creator like that can kind of feel like, okay, well, where are my talents best suited? Like, should I be a filmmaker? Should I just have a YouTube channel?
Right.
Should I just plug myself into the consciousness? Like, what should I do?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, see, and I don't even know that it's a matter of like broad appeal as much as it is like, you just have to understand the inherent difference between a sketch and a feature. Mm-hmm. And there are very clear differences. In sketches, you can get away with, archetypes and sketchy character motivation for the sake of comedy. But with a feature, it doesn't work that way. Like a feature has to make logical sense. It has to, like, no matter how off the wall it is, there are certain things that a feature must do in order to be successful. Yeah. And that's why things like Saturday Night Live sketches that get turned into films oftentimes don't work. Yeah. Because it's just inherently it's a different medium. And so just like if you're, I mean, if you take a book and you adapt it to a feature, you have to make changes. If you take a sketch and adapt it into a feature, you have to make changes. You can't just make it longer.
Yeah. You can't just multiply the length times 30.
Right. Exactly.
And it's a movie. Yeah. Like these are people, these are characters. Like they're no longer like, sketch characters. They're
not joke delivery machines.
Yeah.
They are characters.
They're characters.
They have to be.
They have backstories. They have lives. They have wounds, and that's all the stuff.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well. Bye.
Bye.
For Christ's sake, her last name is Taint.